Good afternoon. We're resuming our session. It's the second session. It's called Egovernment Development, Regional Achievements and Future Plans. So this session is dedicated to the implemented policy. During the session, several presenters will join us. They're absent now. They have some meetings now, meetings that have not been planned, but they will they join us during the session. The first presentation will be made by Irakli Gvenetadze, Data Exchange Agency Chairperson, Ministry of Justice of Georgia. Once again, good afternoon, dear guests. As you know, once in 2 years' time, the UN conducts e-government assessment of e-government index, and they determine the development of different countries. This index consists of 3 components: the development of electronic services. The second component is the readiness of the society to use these technologies and e-services, and the third is the awareness of the population of this. So it's the second one, and the third session is the accessibility and availability and development of information technologies. So these 3 indices are used to evaluate different countries. As Georgia recently has been successful and is moving forward according to these indices. In 2010, we were on the 100th place. In 2012, we occupied the 72nd position, and 2014 we are the 56th among the countries. So electronic participation has already been successful in Georgia. It's one of the indices that is not included in these 3 indices, but it's very interesting to know that we have made a great step forward even in this direction. These scores show that we are leaders in the region, and I'd like to mention that countries bordering us, Ukraine, Moldova, these countries, are lagging behind us, and we are very proud of it, and it's we take pride in that. And it should be mentioned that we have made great steps forward in a very short period of time compared to other countries as well. On this slide, you can see that GDP per capita is evaluated, and the rate of the electronic index and GDP per capita, the ratio between these 2 are made. And in Georgia, there has been a progress with regard to each and every dollar invested in this electronic development, and it means that the management of this system has been right and very rightly selected. These 2 slides also show the state of the country in general, and why it happened, and what was the reasons for the development of electronic technologies in Georgia. Every organization. So it's not the primary goal and purpose to develop IT technologies in every company. So this development of IT technologies is the supportive event. And the government of Georgia recently, as you know, has implemented different reforms in many spheres, and these reforms were the the main reason for developing IT technologies as well. So IT technologies, development of IT technologies contributed to the improvement of effectiveness of different organizations, also effectiveness and improvement of different services, qualitative and quantitative development and of services, and also it was they saved money when they developed IT technologies, and the country so the accountability of the country has increased as well, and the activities of different countries, the activities have become more transparent, and these processes have been more understandable to the population, and we call them reforms. And while implementing these reforms, the government has become aware that information technologies benefited great to the development of different technologies. So that's why in Georgia we develop electronic management, governance of information technologies to contribute to the development of different and implementation of different reforms. This is the main driving force. And here there are some projects enumerated, and I'd like now to talk about the future projects that have already been planned, and next year all these projects will be implemented. These are the projects that will be dealt with the representatives of the different organizations today. For example, the Agency of Services Development has planned to implement the mobile signature or the digital seal next year already, and there are smaller projects as well. They are not small, of course, they are not small for us. For example, the repository of the official papers and official documents. We know that the Ministry of Finance, the Public Finance Management System will be implemented by the Ministry of Finance next year, and the next one is it is a long-term project, and we'll have the joint register of addresses, and all these organizations will be included. Information and geo coordinates will be included there. So different addresses of different facilities will be included. It will be a general joint database that cover the whole country, and we can find so people on the basis of their names or on the basis of their addresses, and the addresses and names will be related, and it will be very useful for our citizens, for our customers, and it will develop the services, and also the electronic governance system will develop on the basis of that. This is the business register, how it looked like in 2006, and we know how our business register looks like today. Every citizen has the opportunity to get this electronic document. You used to need, for example, several days or weeks to get this electronic document several years ago, and you need several minutes to get it now from the Public Registry's Office. And we have the new law initiative, and the Services Development Agency works on this law, a new draft law. A new draft law will be submitted to the society for the consideration, and this draft version will be considered by the society first at the first stage, and there are so it means that this law will be harmonized with European Convention and European legislation, and the public sector, it will be an incentive for the public sector to use this digital signature that 1 million people have already had in Georgia. This is the raising of awareness of the population, what the benefits of these electronic signatures and electronic services are, and this raising awareness of population will continue in future. We have this new legislative initiative. It is so getting information from one window principle. It will be the obligation of the government. It means that if in any organization, in the public organization, if they have some information about one of the citizens, it means that these organizations should deliver this information and should not refer this citizen to another agency or to another, and they should provide the citizen with this information they request. So it will become the obligation of the government and public agencies, and this means that IT technologies should develop in the country in order to serve better the citizens. Every organization have a lot of problems. We lack professionals, we lack budgets, there are problems in standards, in the security, and so on. All these problems, of course, exist, and in order to resolve these problems, we need joint actions. We need sharing information, sharing experience, and the first very good example of when the governmental organization resolved this problem with regard to the communication systems was in 2006, when there was established a special committee, and they so developed some requests for bids for tender documents, and we established the joint communication network, and this project was based on public-private partnership principle, because the government resolved its problems and invested zero lari in that one, and Macticom implemented this project, and Macticom, so a new market was opened for Macticom, and so they became internet service providers after implementing this project, and they had been only the cellular company before. So you are very well aware of this project, but the purpose of this project was as follows. The government should have got the communication in definite hotspots, and the prices of internet were determined, and public institutions had the right to buy this internet, without any tender. But if some public institutions wanted to buy this internet from different providers, it means that they had to announce bid, but prices should have been the prices provided by different companies. So many organizations did not know the resolution of this problem before. They had global problems facing, but everybody on the basis of cooperation. On the basis of this cooperation, they began resolving their own business tasks, because this project covered the whole country with internet, and the Data Exchange Agency was established in 2010, and main purpose of this service was to establish coordination between governmental organizations and to pursue the joint policy, and also to establish the data exchange infrastructure in the country, and to resolve the problems of cybersecurity and information security, because it's a great problem in the country even today. This is the architecture, it's the drawing. Mr. Alexander Jejelava also participated in creating of this drawing, how it looked like. Yes, this problem, not all the problems have been resolved, but we have made great steps forward with this regard. Every organization used to have their own, so back office, there are no systems, and front office from which they provided the services to. So our aim is to have this integration platform, so the joint platform, and this is the standardized platform of exchanging services and data, and we have different information systems also that are used, and these information systems might be different, and it's not necessary for these information systems to have the one and the same architecture and development languages. So it means that we are flexible, and we are free, but very flexible in providing the services to the citizens. That's why we established this data exchange agency and infrastructure of data exchange. And this infrastructure, it means that all the organization publish the service, publishes its services, and the customer can have access to all the services from one and the same hotspot. For example, information is sent from the bank to the information exchange data and data agency, and this information might be referred or transferred to different organizations, and this information is consolidated. Information got from different agencies, and then this information is sent back to the applicant. These are the government on the so we have integrated information system in the government, a joint integrated system, and if something is changed in one of the companies, if a baby is born, so it is somehow reflected in the budget or in the social protection services. So our government should be customer oriented, when in the center there is a customer, not an organization, but a customer, our citizen there is there in the center, and the citizen has its own profile, and these services are given here, services that can be provided to the citizen. Of course, these services have already been implemented. We can develop and create the profile of our citizens. For example, the public registry's office, when it says that this citizen is already 7 years old and goes to public school and not to the kindergarten, then the agency for social subsidies will determine the social score, and that the citizen is entitled to the social benefits. So this information should be communicated to different services, to different companies, and this information is included and then transferred to the joint database. MyGovG, it's the website. We have about 40 services for our citizens, and if anybody is, if you are not registered, so before that we needed the ID to be registered there on this, and now so you can register here on this website and get this password of this website, MyGovG. You need only the ID, and Teona, our employee, is ready to help you in registering yourself.
As I said, there are up to 50 services on the citizens' personal page. First of all, this is a basic information on a citizen. On this page, you can get all types of data on the individual, so the information that comes from different ministries, from the civil registry, etc. So when you go to the right page, you'll see all the property registered on the name of this individual. He or she can also change his registration address. It will also show what business he participates in. We also have the service that enables individuals to register businesses online, but only ID and password are not sufficient here, and new ID cards will be necessary because electronic signature is required. I think you will be able to look at this portal on your own, and you'll find very many interesting services for you. As I said, we're developing the citizens portal, and our agency is involved in the integration of legislative acts. As you know, Ministry of Finance's Public Register and Ministry of Interior developed office programs which are installed in different organizations, and for the Ministry of Finance to send the letter to the Ministry of Justice, the letter has to go through a special gateway which plays the role of a postal office. Will deliver this message from one ministry to another, and this has dramatically reduced the number of paperwork and hard copies going among the organizations. And the development of the unified trade facilitation system is another endeavor. So all organizations that are involved in trade with each other actually will be connected so that they can exchange their documents online. It will involve banks, insurance companies, customs, tax authorities, and all relevant agencies. If today these documents are being delivered in hand, in future it will be done electronically, and it will of course improve our business environment. It will make our procedures more transparent, and it will also improve customs and tax reporting systems. I have to mention that one of the most important projects of which we're very much proud is the House of Justice project, which is our star project for both Georgians and foreigners, and implementation of these projects would not have become possible without having orderly information systems in the companies that delivers services to the House of Justice. As for the e-government legislative framework, we're going to develop the portal from where information can be downloaded from one point, and electronic analog of all pieces of legislation shall exist, and the citizens shall not be referred to other public agencies to get information. This has to be retrievable from one point. There will be a amendment on the law on information information security and personal data protection. The law on unified information registry requires development of the unified catalogs. So what organization is an owner of what type of information, and what is the structure of this information, what processes have to be gone through to update this information, and what is the link and relation between different agencies. This process has been ongoing, and it will become even more active started from next year onwards. So now we clearly see the need to start operating this registry actively. It will show us and another very important law is the law on information security. On this law, I will speak a bit later. This is a law that governs and regulates our cybersecurity. Our organization, as I was saying, is about information and cyber security. First direction is information security, which is about policy on how to tackle the information, what type of information exists in different agencies, what risks are associated with this information, and how these risks have to be managed. This allows us to measure accurately what type of investments we need to make sure that a concrete organization is more protected in terms of information security. We all understand that today material, tangible assets deserve just get more attention than the pieces of information contained in the organization, while it has to be the opposite way, because information is a lot more important for any organization than some tangible assets. And another direction is cybersecurity, which is the so-called CERT Georgia. CERT Georgia is the national and governmental CERT. It does not contain information on national security, but it contains information on all other areas. Here we are analyzing traffic. We respond to different accidents and analyze that. As I told you, in Georgia we have a cybersecurity strategy, which was created in 2013, and this year we are going to update this strategy. As you know, Commission for the Crisis Management and the Safety Management has been established, and this commission now plays a coordinating function role, and the commission will assess strategy and how efficiently it has been implemented and what are the shortcomings. As I told you, that under the umbrella of information security activities, we carry out different projects. For example, we carry out the consultations with 39 critical agencies. We carry out trainings to train information security officers, because these are the key professionals to make sure that information security is really working. As for the CERT, here we are members of many international organizations such as UNDP's UN Impact, Trusted, First. It is very important, because without a membership to that to those organizations, the international community does not communicate with individual countries, so we have direct contact with different countries, CERTs and agencies. This is the first GITI, which was held in 2010, and this year we're hosting this event for the 7th time, and I hope that it has become a very good tradition in Georgia, and I hope that we will be meeting each other many years ahead. Once again, I'd like to extend my gratitude. And this year we issued first annual report which describes our activities, and we also published together with all our partners electronic service compilation which we want to be distributed at schools in order to increase awareness and for the high school students and upper grade school students to start using these services. And I'd like to also open the calendar for next year, which is about information and cybersecurity. Some of these calendars were in your bags. If they are not present there, you can take them from our stands. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much.